Hello and welcome to Shauna Stitches. This is episode number 41 and it is May I think it's 26th. Yes, the 26th. I am filming from the Pacific Northwest Oregon coast from my yarn room, and it's been a while since I recorded. For those of you who are coming back, thank you so much for sticking in there with me. I wasn't honestly sure that I was going to be recording again ever. And for those of you that are new, thank you. Thanks for checking me out. I'm rusty a lot. Anyway, I will talk more about kind of life stuff and why it's taken me so long to record. But just know that you haven't missed anything. I have not recorded since the end of Vlogmas 2018. It is now the middle of 2018. It only took me 6 months. And things are going to be a little bit different. I think I will just be recording when I have a finished object, which I'm wearing one right now. This is not the first finished object that I've had since my last podcast, but I'm not going to go back and try and figure out all the things that I finished and find them and all that stuff. So we're just going to pick up where we are right now. So that being said, this is my night shift shawl. I will stand up and try and kind of show it to you. It's very big. I'm 5'10" and it hits me, let's see, my hip bones are right here. So it's quite a large shawl. That being said, I did go up a needle size from what the pattern calls for. I believe it was a US 9, 5.5 millimeter. Sounds right, but it's all on my project pages on Ravelry, which you can find under Shauna Stitches. So let's see if I can show this to you. First of all, I have my arms fully outstretched, and oops, I just hit wedding flowers, and it goes all the way to the other side. So that crinkling was a bag that is covering some silk flowers that I have for my wedding. I should have told you guys that, but Glenn proposed on January 3rd, and we are engaged. I love my ring. It doesn't show up well in photos or video. Maybe if I block my face. I don't know, but it's absolutely stunning. It's so, there we go. Anyway, it's got little cutouts. It's gorgeous. I love it. Anyway, yeah. So we're getting married November the 16th of this year. So all the things that I should have done that I haven't done yet, it's happening. Anyway, I will try not to hit the bag covering the flowers again. So yes, back to my humongous shawl. I'm trying to show it, but I honestly can't see the camera at this moment. So hopefully you have seen all the colors. A little bit of backstory on this shawl. I literally wanted to knit it from the moment it came out. And the original pattern uses Spin Cycle yarns, which is on the spendier side. I've honestly never priced it, but I've heard that from enough people to know that it's on the spendier side. And so my thought was, I'm a new spinner. I have a wheel. Let's just spin yarn for it. And that was going really well until what happened? I think I thought it was 5 colors, and then I realized it was 6, and I wasn't really finding fiber in my stash that could be a good 6th color. And beyond that, I just haven't had a ton of spinning time or knitting time for that matter, which is a huge reason that the podcast has kind of taken a back seat. But anyway, I was going to Joann Fabrics to pick up my silk flowers that I had to special order in. And I saw this yarn on an end cap there. And I wish I had the leftovers to show you the little bits, but I don't remember where I set them. Probably somewhere where I would remember to find them, but I don't know where that is. Anyhow, I used 3 colors of this. It's Red Heart, Roll With It Tweed. I should have shown you a close-up. It's a very cool pattern, very fun to knit. It's mosaic knitting. And yeah, I love, love, love the way the colors played together. Anyway, back to seeing this yarn. I saw this end cap and all the colors were so pretty, and they have this hand spun look about them. They're a 3-ply loosely plied, and the colors change. It's kind of a self-striping, but they change in this very gradual manner, very much like a hand-spun yarn would. And my mind immediately went to this shawl. And I was originally looking at buying 6 different colors, and then I figured out the yardage. I was like, I don't need to buy 6 colors. I can buy 3. So I picked 3 fairly similar but yet different colors, and they all went together, and decided to pull from both the outside and the inside of each of the yarn balls, so that I could essentially create 6 colors. So I will tell you what the colors are that I used. Sunset is kind of the orangier color that you can see. There's one called Outside, or sorry, it's not Outside, it's Beach House. I was talking about which way I was pulling from. Beach House, I think, is more of the blues and greens. And then the last one is called Modern Pastel, which I think is sort of these yellows and yeah, anyway. They're all in there, and I think that they go together so well. I absolutely love it. I was originally concerned that I wouldn't have enough contrast, but it's just perfect. I love it. And what else? At times I felt like I was knitting with baby yarn colors, but I think the overall effect is not to be that. Like, I'm going to see if I can find an example. So like kind of right here, some of these have like the 3 strands, and it's light blue and pink and maybe white. But again, I think the overall effect is amazing. And I kind of feel like calling this my accidental rainbow shawl because it's kind of rainbowy and I kind of love it. The yarn is 100% acrylic. If I could change one thing about it, it would be that this would have some wool content. But I did, for blocking, I did what's called killing, I think, killing the yarn. I steamed all of the yarn, and it honestly drapes so nice now. It made it so much softer. I love it. And I would use this yarn again. I would knit this shawl again with this yarn again in a heartbeat. It's good. I have no complaints other than, I don't know, we as knitters, we like our wool. So it would be warmer if it was wool, but that's okay. All right, so I think that's everything about this. Nothing else crazy that I can think of anyway. If you guys have questions, please feel free to ask. I made this exactly to the pattern. I didn't change a thing. Okay. So if I didn't say, this is going to be a shorter podcast, all my future podcasts are probably going to be shorter podcasts, and that's not a bad thing. The next thing I'm going to show you is a shawl that I'm working on. Maybe I should show it like this. This is a test knit that I'm doing for Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expat. And this is, oh, my yarn fell on the floor. So it's the very first time I'm knitting with my own hand spun. If you guys watched an old episode, I did spin this yarn. It's my very first spin on my wheel ever. It turned out amazing. The yarn itself is very, very, very thin. It's a lace weight-ish. And so I'm holding this double to create something that is between a heavy fingering and a sport weight. I guess that's kind of one of the good things, different things about knitting with hand spun is that it doesn't always fit nicely in the boxes like a commercial yarn might. But I love the way this is knitting up. I love all the color variations. Quite honestly, not to toot my own horn, but I feel like knitting this is very much like knitting a commercial yarn, which shocks the crap out of me. I never expected that something that I actually spun could be so consistent and amazing. And I just hope that the rest of my spins are this great, because this is by far the thinnest I have ever spun. Maybe to the point of being too thin, although it's not ever too thin to where I feel like it's going to break or anything. I did, after spinning the original singles, I two-plied it, which I'm trying to see if there's a good section where you can actually see that it's plied 2 different colors. Yeah, it's going to focus on my face or the yarn. Anyway, believe me, it's 2-ply. So I absolutely love it. This shawl right now is tentatively named the Simple Texture Handspun Shawl, I believe, by Mina. I don't know when she's going to come out with it, but you can actually check out her podcast because she has shown her version on her podcast. I don't remember which episode, but it was one of the, actually, I think it was the most recent episode, not to include vlogs. So this is just garter right now, and then 2 other sections to go. The second yarn I will be using is this one here. I also spun this, and it is a thicker yarn, but more still about in the sport weight range. I think it's going to go well with this. It's going to pick up on the oranges, and there's a little bit of purple in this, believe it or not. But I think those two are going to go well together. I hope. That's the plan anyway. And lastly, I'm going to show you what I've been spinning because I am participating in Mina, Phillip, and Grace. I don't know her last name. I think it's O'Neill of Babble Traveling Yarns. Babble's Traveling Yarn, I think, something like that. They are hosting the SMAL 2019, which is the Spin and Make Along. And it really got me back on my wheel because I hadn't been spinning a lot. So this is what I have so far. This is 2 bobbins, which equal 2/3 of my entire braid of fiber, which was 100 grams. And I'm spinning it hopefully thin enough that this will be a 3-ply sock yarn. That's the goal anyway. I have never spun a sock yarn. Always when I wanted to spin, that was my goal, was to spin a sock yarn, a fingering weight sock yarn if at all possible. And that's what I'm shooting for. So once I get all this, once I get the 3rd bobbin done and the get it plied, that's my goal for this, is to actually knit a pair of hand spun socks with my own hand spun. And after the experience with my shawl knitting out of my own hand spun, I'm super excited about that. I've already been excited, but it gives me hope that it might not be as bad as I was anticipating. So this is what the fiber looks like that I'm spinning right now. It's got bright blues and this gold kind of orangey color. Someone said that this reminded them of like gold buried at the bottom of the sea, and I love that. So I don't know what my socks are going to be called yet, but something along those lines, I think. Maybe buried treasure or something. I don't know. So yeah, life stuff. Life has been busy. Not really any good reason I can tell you why it's been super busy, but just it's life. Still working the 5/8 schedule at work, so that makes me just at work a lot of days. So I feel like I have less knitting time. I definitely have less knitting time per day. Mostly I get a little bit more time on the weekends. So I just feel like I don't have that solid section of time to work on projects where I'm finishing a lot of things fastly. And yeah, planning for a wedding is hard work. To be honest, it's not fun to me. My plan was to go to the courthouse, and Glenn wanted to have a wedding, so that's what we're doing. I have picked out a dress. It's absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to be able to show you guys photos of that. But we still are missing a lot of the big pieces for things. So I still have about 6 months to plan. So maybe it's 5 months now. But I think it's going to be fine. It's just checking things off the list one at a time. And we're not going for anything super extravagant. It's just going to be a little more extravagant than I had, envisioned. What else? My mom just moved in with me yesterday. So, yeah, things are interesting. And I don't know. I can't think of anything else major. I'm sure there has been things. I guess I'm a new aunt again. Glenn's brother just had their first baby, and that's very exciting. I did some baby knits for them. And yeah, I can't think of anything shocking. If you guys have any questions, if I've totally blown over something, not answered, something you think I should have, please ask down below. You can always reference my Ravelry project pages as well. I'm pretty good about putting everything in there. And I definitely have a project page for every project I do. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. Thanks so much for tuning in. And like I said, I will try to podcast every time I have a finished object. So they're going to be shorter videos, but hopefully that's better than nothing. I'll talk to you guys when I have another one. Bye.